The following is a presentation of iRacing on PTR TV. We'd like to thank all of our channel partners for their support. Please like and subscribe to the channel, and we hope you enjoy today's broadcast.
The 44 gets loose off of corner number 4. It's going to be a photo finish to the line in the grass, but the 44 will hang on for the win. Here he comes with the crossover. Felison to the inside. Is it going to be a Las Vegas photo finish? They touch. They wreck. Who's going to get it? Upside down. Who's going to get it?
Felison gets it.
Ooh, by himself. Now he has a 72 of O'Connor. It's going to be a 2v2 race to the checkers. 2 up top, 2 to the bottom. It's going to be Ingram. It's going to be Rainville. Who's going to get it at the stripe? Photo finish. It's going to be Rainville. Is there enough? This is going to be a close finish. What is going to happen? Is there enough fuel to get him around 2 more corners? He didn't have enough. The final corner. There goes Zach Nichols. Sarah ran out with 3 corners to go, and Zach Nichols will win here at Mostport. And is he going to go for the last-ditch effort? Is he going to use the back bumper? What will Devin Serra do? We head into corner number 3. He's going to sail it on in there. Does he get to the bumper? He turns him. He turns it for the win. He wrecks him. We saw how Ruddy, is that a word? Ruddy?
I don't know. Just go with it.
All right, we'll go with it. We've seen how Ruddy turn 3 is getting. And
so these guys, once again, doubled up, stacked up, and ready to go back green flag racing here behind the iRacing.com Facebook pace car.
Don't know where that came from, but we'll let it slide.
What was I thinking?
The high banks of Talladega Superspeedway. They bring fame, they bring fear, they bring high speeds, and tonight they bring some cold, hard cash. For the second week in a row, we're bringing you coverage of the Spartan SimRacing League and their Cash Dash series here. A Friday night staple that'll soon be taking over the airwaves on PTR TV for week number 2 of their 5-week Cash Series racing here on a Friday night. Happy for you to be here with us on PTR TV for, again, what's going to be a night of fun. 75 laps of action here in the Xfinity machines here at none other than the Talladega Superspeedway. If you were with us last week, you saw a exciting finish where Justin Botello, famous Twitch streamer, big name on the iRacing service, was able to take the checkered flag. We'll see if he is able to duplicate that this evening with another victorious result. Qualifying here is just about to conclude. We have looks like roughly 18 to 20 drivers, somewhere in that ballpark, that have chose to take time here and put some of their cold hard cash on the line for a shot at some big money here at Talladega. So again, NASCAR Xfinity machines at Talladega, exactly as we had last week, and some of the details that these guys do race under here in the SSRL Cash Dash. There is a $20 entry fee. I believe given our car count tonight, first through third will get payouts predominantly to the winner. Second and third will essentially get their winnings, or get their entry fee back. So the winner is going to get the lion's share of tonight's efforts. We do have the 13 incident limit to keep these guys, on their toes and racing clean. And of course, they do have one fast repair. So inevitably at a plate race, there's always going to be some form of carnage. So if that does indeed happen, you do have a reprieve in that regard. So again, I want to thank everybody for joining us here on PTR TV. Apologies for those who tuned into us last night for the Red Sox Racing League. Unfortunately, Windows Updates decided to do what Windows Updates do, which is break everything. So unfortunately, I spent a whole night of basically rebuilding the computer and all that fun stuff to make sure that we were able and ready to give coverage of tonight's race for everybody for the SSRL Cash Dash. I hope you enjoy what you see, and like and subscribe if you have not done so, because we will be covering these guys on Monday nights. Me and two of my partners will be covering these guys in a few weeks for their Elite Cup Series that they are currently recruiting for. So if you're interested in that on Monday nights, make sure you stay tuned to them. But what we have to do right now is go down trackside and give you the PTR TV starting lineup here tonight for the SSRL Cash Dash. The 225 machine of Heath Snyder is going to be on tonight's pole with a lap time of 54.073. Ryan Ducom, you'll find him in the 100% Cup Series on Saturday nights on the outside of the front row. Christopher Bishop in third. We have Reese Schaefer in the fourth spot. I will probably butcher a couple of these names in here just as a preface. Bo Tiffany in fifth. Cody Ivey rolling off in the sixth spot. Tommy Haynes in seventh. Andrew Cesanto in eighth. Drew Prowell in ninth. Dave Hughes Jr., one of the big dogs here in the series. He's going to be on the outside of the top 10. And then we have Alex Nietzsche. Blair Holloman going to be in row 6. Casey Latimer in 13th. Justin Botello, last week's winner, rolling off on the outside of row 7. And then rounding out our grid, we have Derek Castor, John Wimbish, Bobby Anderson, Jacob Cezala, and I believe that'll actually do it. Yes, 18 drivers in tonight's efforts here tonight. So one thing that we did have last week that ended up being a little bit difficult for us was some of the car names and numbers didn't match up. So I'm going to try to make sure that I can learn these cars, so that way it is easier for me to give you guys the coverage and all that fun stuff. But just going over some final last minute details. The weather conditions at Talladega. We know it's a plate race. Weather really isn't of much significance, but just to let everybody know, 71 in the air. That Alabama sun is beating down heavily at 118 degree track temp. My goodness. But also pretty dry air with little humidity and little wind. So an interesting dynamic that we did notice last week was that these drivers really didn't race for the win in the way we would expect them to. It's gonna baffle my tongue here, but I know it was Justin Botello who did take the checkers last week, but the driver who came in second, his name just befuddles me right now, I can't remember who it was, basically stayed tied to that 64's back bumper, really didn't take a shot at the win, which kind of surprised Botello himself. But I don't expect that 2 weeks in a row. We have a slightly bigger field. I think we have like one or two guys more than we had last week, so that does add to the prize pool, which means going for that win is going to put more money in your wallet. So naturally, we all want that. So I wouldn't expect to see that 2 weeks in a row again. Just myself, Corey Silva in the truck and in the booth tonight, kind of the man doing double duty, the one show wonder here tonight. So I will be the one that you will be spending your Friday night with. So thanks for joining me. Heading down the back straightaway here, completing our one and only pace lap, the iRacing Mustang we have today. Leading them now. We see we got mellow yellow Kyle Petty-esque colors on the top of the racetrack, and the Razor Camaro. That is our pole sitter, Heath Snyder, in that 225. Two triple-digit number drivers in this race, Alex Neach being the other one. And then, ironically, second car on that outside row, Reese Schaefer, Richard Petty's scheme. So we got a Petty-esque top groove here for our initial start. Coming off turn 4, that pace car will take that left-hand turn into the safety and confines of pit lane here, as we've talking about to our death, the famous Talladega Tri-Oval. Of course, that start-finish is well down the track, so we have to wait for us to get there and see which line will prevail. It's a Friday night, it's PTR TV, it's Corey the Booth, SSRL Cash Dash, race number 2. Who's going to get the prize money? Let's find out together. Waiting for Barney to wave that flag and get this race underway. Here we go, green, green, green at Talladega. Initial start thus far has that outside groove having the whole shot by far. That inside groove very, very unorganized there. That 29 out by himself, rather the 28 of well, actually 29. It's going to be the same thing. Heath Snyder kind of throwing me off with the numbers here again. Snyder in that 225. You'll see him listed as 225, but in essence, he is going to be 29 visually. So I'm going to be confused as well as you. We got to get used to it together. But that inside lane did not organize very well. That 14 of Bishop was miles off the back bumper of Snyder. And you can see that is happening as it stands right now. So that lead is going to go to Ducom on lap number 1 with relative ease. Cessanto on that outside lane, kind of the only guy up there right now. Looks like the 89 of Drew Prohl is the only one up there. So thus far, everyone is kind of taking this very cautiously, which it's kind of the smart way to run a plate race, even if it is a little on the more boring end. It's the smart way to do it. So you saw Schaefer kind of took a little bit of a look to the outside there, but chose to remain exactly where he is in line. I mean, 75 laps here. Remember, we do have the shortened fuel load in these machines, and last week we ended up seeing about lap 19 to, I'll say 22-ish was the pit window for these drivers. So we're going to have at least 3 pit stops in this race, potentially more if there's cautions, but I wouldn't imagine the pit stops are really adding too much to it. So it'll indeed be multiple stops. We saw actually, it was last week? Yeah, it was flag to flag, green flag racing last week, if memory serves. I can't believe 7 days ago has befuddled my brain that much, but it has done so. Last week was flag to flag, if memory did serve, not a single yellow. Race absolutely flew by, and again, a properly run plate race will kind of work like that, because you're gonna choose to stay in line, you're gonna choose to run semi-cautiously, because relating to another sport right now that is in its playoffs, the NBA. Everyone always says you don't need to watch basketball to the very end because that's when it matters. Well, effectively on a plate race, as long as you're in position, as long as you're in the mix, you're not blown out, you're not wrecked, you're not 10 seconds behind the pack, you could win it from 10th on the last lap. So you have to just be in position. So fighting this early in the race is more risk than reward, as Snyder is going to voluntarily, it appears, choose to go to the rear of the field. He just turned right, pulled out a line, and maybe he's just deciding to have fun with it, see if he can work his way back up. Maybe he has some kind of a teammate or somebody back there that he is trying to communicate with or trying to work with in some capacity. Your guess is as good as mine. So he will drop into line behind Botello. Botello in that 81 paint scheme. He will be registered as 64 in Sims. Those are the numbers that you'll see on the overlays. And looks like there may be some teamwork being fashioned in that regard, because we do see him right here, Snyder, to the back bumper of that 64. And trying to do that little two-car tango, if possible, to push to the front. Derek Castor and a couple other drivers choosing to take some liberty on that outside lane. And look at the momentum they have. They are just zooming by there. Essentially, they're in turbo gear. That inside lane is just bobbing and weaving and all over the place. Someone's going to try to sneak up to the top of the track and take the run. Trying to see who that is in that Flames machine. I believe that's Bo Tiffany in that 13 ride. Yes, indeed it is. He's going to take that momentum from the top as they do clear Cody Ivy in that green and white machine to the inside. Now they're going to try to see if they have enough steam to take the lead from Schaefer and Ducombe. Here they come off of 2 down the Alabama gang back straightaway. This is where the outside usually perseveres, is on the straightaway off the exit of the corner. You get that little bit extra run off the hill. And here is that $1 million question. Is the leader able to clear? And when he does clear, whoa, down to the apron, somebody has expired their motor. That is going to be Reese Schaefer, I believe. Yes, it is. We'll try to go back on replay and see if we can find the moment that it expired. We'll go on board. See here, we'll try to go from a cockpit cam. You can see his RPM gauge. And there it goes. Oh, there it went, rather. So a very short race for Schaefer, unfortunately. Back to live action here on screen. So 7 laps to expire the engine. That is a very normal dynamic on these plate races, and while that did happen, the 13 and the 64 did clear to drop to the bottom of the track, and Snyder for that matter as well. So the outside lane did use its mojo accordingly, just to make but just to go back to that point with Schaefer, when you are drafting this tight, you genuinely have to watch that water temp gauge as close as possible, the water and oil temp. You have to watch them as close as possible, because with the tape on these machines, you can usually tandem push for about lap and a half. Once that car starts blinking, once those gauges start blinking, you really have maybe 10-15 seconds to cool it off, pull out a line, get some fresh air, let off the accelerator. You have about 10-15 seconds, and after you push it, it's only a matter of time before that ticking time bomb does indeed grenade. So Schaefer did use his fast repair to get that engine repaired, to get that engine back at full song. So kind of false pretense that he's out of the race. I did forget about that fast repair, so he did use that. So now he's going to have the inconvenience to ensure that he does not get involved in any wrecks. That is Jacob Cizala, who is behind him. I think he may have started from the pits, because he was in the back the entire time. But Schaefer cannot have anything happen to him. Anything that does happen, he's going to have to get it repaired or fixed. Solely with the hammer and duct tape that his pit crew does have. No resets will be allowed. Some shifting around there on that upper lane. 28 of Ducombe kind of changing lanes, kind of pulling the traffic brake. Which lane am I gonna go with? Alex Nietzsche in that 628 is going to try to create a surge on that outside lane. Bobby Anderson in the Bobby Labonte ride is going to try to push him along with the 17 of Tommy Haynes. So it looks like some of these drivers choosing to shuffle themselves around, but the vast majority of them choosing to stay in line. So again, this is the kind of racing at Talladega. We kind of call this just killing laps. None of what they're doing here in this race right now is really that scary. It's not really anything that's going to facilitate much of a wreck. So they are shuffling around. They are 3 wide. You can see the 17 machine of Haynes all the way to the outside. And Anderson was in the middle. But they get it sorted out. Talladega is such a wide track that, I mean, realistically, going 3 wide isn't really even that scary. I mean, at Daytona, it's an entirely different ballgame. But here at Dega, it's just kind of another checkbox to fulfill because it's just normal activity. It will be interesting to see how Schaefer and Cesala are able to fare because, again, relating to last week's race where we really didn't have any yellow flags to jumble the field back up. It will be very interesting to see what they do. They're going to fall a lap down, probably within 2, maybe 2-3 laps. They'll go a lap down. They'll likely tag on to the remainder of this pack towards the end of it, and they're probably going to hang there. One of them will get a free pass if we do get a caution. One of them's going to have to probably do a wave around or pray for another caution, unless we're lucky enough to get one for both of their sakes within the next 5 minutes. But again, as you see this pack here, there's nothing in this pack that would dictate to me that we're going to have a yellow. That outside lane all the way in the back is trying its hardest to form. But again, there's, I think, a lot of patience being shown, which is exactly what needs to happen in these races. So 628 trying to go to the outside. That's Alex Nietzsche. So we have Nietzsche, Haynes, and 06 of Blair Holloman on that outside lane right now. I was going to say Bobby Anderson, but he has dropped to the bottom. So doesn't look like most of these drivers have the patience to run the top. A couple, run the top for a lap, give up on it, go to the bottom. You have to really commit to it, get that run built, use the discipline to, take advantage of those inside lane checkups and try to lure more people up front to pull up and, join the conga line. That's how you make it work. It takes some patience and perseverance, and some drivers just aren't really willing to do that. As Haynes kind of just decides to go to the back of the pack, he'll drop all the way to the tail end. I just want to make sure that everybody who's enjoying the show, if anybody is here in chat, if I can just ask if the audio is okay in relation to engine sounds and my microphone. I did have issues with that last week, so if anybody in chat can just give me the okay audio sounds good, or if I should raise one, lower the other, please just give me that little piece of advice. Again, recovering from a chronic computer failure last night. A lap 14, taking lap number 15. Still clean and green here at Dega. It should be coming up on pit stops within the next 2 to 5, not 2 to 3 laps. Corey, what are you talking about? Probably about 5 to 7 laps. I'd expect pit stops, and that'll make it interesting to see. Does the field get broken up? We know that everybody has a slightly different style to their pit entries, and that pit entry will dictate how fast you go on pit road, how good you exit pit road, what you choose to do on pit road, and then how good does everybody around you do. Because if you don't do good with your pit entry and pit exit and ultimately your pit decision, you will lose the guys that you came with. So if you make that bad decision, we saw it a couple times last week where someone would take 4 tires and then ultimately drop off the pack. If we don't go back to, if we don't have a yellow, you're not going to be able to make that up. So these guys are going to have to make sure that they talk to each other. I could just see here that in the driver communications that there are a bunch of drivers that are talking to each other in private rooms, but they also have the ability to talk to each other in the group, the overall drivers chat, and coordinate. Hey, I'm coming this time. Or hey, I'm coming that time. I'm going to drive all the way to the bottom. You stay all the way to the top. They can coordinate these things down to the T. And ultimately, it's just a matter of executing, not speeding. And again, everyone making sure that, hey, I'm only taking 2 tires. I'm taking full fuel. I'm taking 4. Make sure you're on the same strategy with the guys that you are working with in order to maximize these pit stops. So Santo on that outside lane with Pro and that 89. They are the only 2 drivers up to the top of the track in that 628, trying to catch them from afar. And he will use that run, and he will get a good suck up to get to the back bumper of Pro. So it will be 3 drivers to the top, but 3 to the top and approximately 9 to the bottom. I mean, just pure mathematics there. They're going to be in an uphill battle, no pun intended, to make that outside lane work, but they're going to be side by side with Snyder right now and getting very close to the side of Botello. But that's where they're going to struggle. He's trying to pinch and trying to side draft to the best of his abilities. But he's going to really he's going to really struggle getting to this about 2nd place car. That's usually where that outside lane has the biggest need for a push, is getting to that 2nd or 3rd place car and making some progress on them. That's in my experience, is the hardest part, especially when you don't have the amount of drivers you'd like to have working in that pack. But just as I say that, look at them. They've managed to get door to door. The 6 of Santo, he was side by side with Tiffany, but lost it on the last corner. So now they're going to try it one more time down the back straightaway. We'll see if that outside can't manage to stick with them. You can see here from our long shot, yes, they do. They have that run down the back straightaway. The 6 I don't think he's going to clear. He got about 3/4 clear of him. But now that inside lane is going to use that shorter distance to pull side by side. And here we come. We have our first set of pit stops. Bo Tiffany. Looks like we have... Oh, no! He sped and into the dirt. I would be very, very surprised. And oh, no, we have some agricultural work going on. That's Dave Fuge. So 2 out of 3 on that first set of stops did not do it successfully. I'll be very surprised if Tiffany hit the speed there. We'll see here how long his pit stop is. If it's only about 5-6 seconds, I don't see a jack going up, so it looks like it's going to be fuel only. But he's 9 seconds, 10 seconds, 11 seconds. Most certainly a pit road speeding penalty for Tiffany there, because he is stuck and everybody else is departing. So usually it's about a 15-second pit stop here at Dega. Rather a 15-second penalty. And he is still parked in his box, as well as Fuge, who he was in the dirt. And here comes the rest of the field. Oh no! 628 around. He's going to collect. Who was that he collected? Cody Ivy. Just talked about the importance of pit stops. That was Alex Neach. Let's go on instant replay and try to see that from a different angle if we can. We'll look from our chopper cam. Just talked at length about how important pit entry here is at Dega. We'll try to see what it was. Yeah, he locked him up, and there's absolutely nowhere to go for Ivy. The beauty of it for Ivy, he does have that fast repair, so honestly his pit stop probably wasn't even any different than it normally would have been. But again, that just takes that safety net away for later. So we'll see. Botello is being registered as the race leader right now. Does have the 43 of Schaefer, tail end of the lead lap, just in front of him. These guys do have to exit at that blue cone. And we will see how these guys do merge onto the racetrack. So Botello is going to have... Looks like he's going to be working with that 43, because Snyder in the 12 is a ways back. So I don't think he's going to get there unless he gets some serious help. We'll see what's behind him, that 225 of Snyder. 6 of Cessanto, and who was that behind Cessanto there? Let me try to go back. Oh, thought I saw somebody behind him, but I'm just making stuff up over here. So then we goes back a ways to Anderson, Haynes, and Holloman. Ryan Ducombe beat up, and it looks like that mellow yellow can was dropped. He's got some significant dents on that number 28 machine. Latimer and Prohl. So that set of stops completely separated this field out, and now Botello is working directly with a lap down car. Then just in front of him, that's the 4 of Dave Hughes. Remember, he was in the dirt, and the 61 of Jacob Cesala, who, remember, he was working with Schaefer on the tail end of the lead lap this entire time. Now Bo Tiffany, he is back in the 13th spot, and he is, let's try to pull it. We can see on the left side of our screen, he is basically about to go a lap down. His pit box time, he was in the pits for 48 seconds with his penalty. He must have got a excessive penalty, or took 4 tires or something like that for 48 seconds plus the penalty plus the stop. That's a extraordinary amount of time. And remember, everybody else, their pit stop time right around 8 seconds. So if you're in the pits for an extra 40 seconds, that's about 7/8 of a lap. So huge mistake. We have a bunch of guys in this race that'll be praying for a caution flag. So it'll be interesting to see how this does work up front, because right now, again, our leader is in a lap car sandwich. And then we have third, fourth, or rather second, third, and fourth, and a little trio there. Well, now you can see how much Snyder is drafting on the back of the 12. Now we saw Schaefer expire his motor very early in the race. You can see that Snyder just looking a little bit to the right on the straightaways, trying to see if he can get a little bit of air intake, because he does not want to expire that motor. But let's pull up on the left side of our screen to our lap time graphic, and oops, the bottom there's a little glitched, but we'll fix that later. But for the top side, you can see 54.4 for Botello, working with those lap cars to a 50.2 for second, third, and fourth. So these drivers are using, essentially those lap cars are not helping Botello as much. So one would assume that over the remainder of the race, over the remainder of this run, that second, third, and fourth should catch up. We're 5 laps into this stint right now. So by lap 40, we'll be coming down pit road again for our second of 3 stops in tonight's race. So I would assume by that point that we'll already have that second pack there. As now Botello's even in a larger pack. Again, all of lap down cars. Actually, wrong camera there. So we have, again, the 43 of Schaefer, tail end of the lead lap. Second car in this lane is Botello. And first car officially off the lead lap, lucky dog position, that's Dave Fuse Jr. in the 4 machine. League admin, one of the league admin of the series. 61 of Jacob Cesala, lap down machine. Christopher Bishop, lap down machine. And Bo Tiffany, remember, he was our former leader until that pit stop, lap down machine. So now these drivers are in a competition for the free pass or to unlap themselves the old-fashioned way. But through all of this shuffling around, second, third, and fourth are there. So now Botello is going to have genuine company for the lead. And oh no, here we go, wrecking down the back straightaway. 61 machine takes out Tiffany. Looks like our leaders did make it through that. I do believe we'll have to confirm on our replay But those lap down cars were fighting so hard, I think, to be in the lucky dog spot that they ended up wrecking themselves and causing our first caution here on lap number 27. So let's go back. I'll go try to queue something up here on the replay if I can. So it's going to be for a little bit while I kind of scramble and find the source. Alright, I think I got a good view of it, so I'll bring it on screen for you right now. It's going to stem at this 61 car of Jacob Cizala from what I saw in my quick little preview. So the forefuge, whoa, what happened there? 61 just took a hard left. That 6 machine of Cizanto essentially drove underneath him. Let's take a look at that one more time. And then we're going to go on board with Cizanto because he essentially drove underneath him. That was a hard left. That was a very hard left-hand turn. I'd be very interested to find out what exactly happened there. Now this is on board with Cizanto in the 6 machine. Now watch his perspective here. Whoa! Literally right over him. He might have got some roof damage there, but but remember, the fast repair is available. And here they come down pit road right now for it. We'll see if I can tell. I can't show you with the graphics, but I can at least let you know who indeed has used it. So as pit stops do occur, see if Cizanto did use his fast repair, and he did not. So it looks like we've only had 2 drivers use their fast repair thus far in tonight's race. That being Reese Schaefer and Cody Ivey. Everybody else is still in their original machine. But I, as a one-man show who has been talking quite a bit, am going to use this as an opportunity to go side by side and grab a drink and rest my voice. So I suggest you guys do the same. We'll be right back for the restart. Stay with me.
iRacing is a sim racing game that combines a true-to-life racing experience with an online community of virtual racers from all around the globe. iRacing offers a multitude of officially licensed cars and tracks, laser scanned with millimeter accuracy. Their car models and mechanical systems are based on real-world physics, engineered in cooperation with manufacturers and race teams. Their skill license system ranges from rookie to pro, ensuring members are always pitted against those with similar skill sets. Members are able to sign up for a weekly race series, compete in time trials, host a private race with friends, and participate in racing leagues created and run by the community. With over 170,000 members, iRacing works in partnership with renowned motorsports organizations like NASCAR to deliver virtual races based on the real-life NASCAR Cup Series, as well as many other series on the NASCAR ladder. iRacing also features team racing, providing a variety of options for members to create and manage their own teams. Race with friends or real-world teammates in full-length endurance events like the 24 Hours of Daytona, Spa 24, or the Bathurst 12 Hour. Additional partners include IMSA, World of Outlaws, Supercars, and IndyCar, allowing members to race in their very own Indianapolis 500, Bathurst 1000, Chili Bowl, and many more iconic events. This is iRacing, delivering the most authentic racing experience short of getting into a real race car. Sign up today at iRacing.com.
And back here on PTR TV, so we are getting ready for our first restart after our first caution of the race. This restart will be a very good sign for many of the people in this race because it did give those not involved in the wreck an opportunity to get a wave around. We have Ivy, Fuge, Bishop, all trying to catch up to the leaders here and remain on the lead lap. Tiffany will be a lap down and Sazawa will be 3 laps down. They're the only two that are not in immediate contention here. So we will still have 15 drivers up and ready as we come through 3 and 4 with Botello and Snyder on the front row for the restart. So this, essentially everybody did pit. So this will put us in not a position where you immediately can make it to the end. So there will be an interesting dynamic there because we will be taking the green with 25 to go or close to 24 to go. And with 24 to go, I think the longest I've seen these guys go is 22 laps. So can you save that? Are we going to have another caution? I guess we'll have to see how that plays out in that capacity. But Botello and Snyder are going to get us going for restart number 1 on the evening. Botello got a probably a little bit bigger of a jump than he needed. That inside didn't get going with Pro on that inside, but looks like we already have some companionship again between Snyder and Botello. He went up to pick him up and went down to drop down in front of him. So looks like we have some guys who are already committed to working with each other here. You can already see that huge, whoa, that's how big of a push it is because it broke the camera. So it looks like we already have some really, really dedicated drafting there between the 64 and the, again, 225 or 89 or 29, whatever you want to call them. But that outside group is getting formed up, so that's Ducom in the Mellow Yellow ride to the top of the track. Bo Tiffany helping him. Tiffany is the lucky dog benefactor right now. If something does come out, nearly did there because initially the 628 is going to send him up into the wall there and cause the big one. That's going to be Ryan Ducom getting, I think, the worst of that. It looked like it stemmed from the 628 trying to go up and essentially take a lane that really didn't exist. Looking at it from replay right here. See the 628 tried to go up and just take the run that the outside had, but unfortunately, it just wasn't going to work there. Take one more look at it. We'll kind of get it from our turn 1 camera. I think you'll be able to get a good perspective of it as they come through the tri-oval here to see that purple car come up, try to take the lane. Just wasn't really enough room for it, and everybody scatters. Looks like the 628, the 28, and there was somebody to the inside of the track that had some issue. But again, a little bit different of a race than we had last week, because we are on our second caution of the evening, very early into tonight's affair. These guys will catch up to the pace car. I think this would be a very good opportunity for many to top off with fuel, because if we do go green, I think these caution laps would basically facilitate us making it to the checkers on one more stop from this point. So we'll see indeed if that is the case, and that is the decision that these drivers do choose to make. All right, let's see if we can after pit stops, we'll see if we can actually talk to one of these drivers and maybe see what they saw on that caution and where their race stands. But let's take a look to see if these guys are choosing to come to pit road. Again, very good opportunity this time by to top off with fuel and ensure that you can make it to the finish on one more stop. The window is open for that now. And here comes Batello into his stall. And these should be super quick stops, I would imagine. Looks like about 5 seconds. Did have, I think, 1 or 2 stay on the track there. I think Drew Prohl choosing to stay out. He will be the only one. But let's go ahead and see if we can talk to one of these guys. Hey Ryan, it's Corey up in the booth. You got me, man? Hey Ryan, it's Corey in the booth. You got me? Hey Ryan. Oh. Can you hear me okay? I'm having some technical problems here with my Discord, so bear with me. I'm trying to get this sorted out. Sometimes Discord just acts a certain way, and I don't quite know why. So, alright, I tried. For some reason my Discord doesn't want to let me talk to people. But I guess we'll get that sorted. Alright, there we go. Hey Ryan, take number 2 there. I had push to talk on and my wheel's not plugged in, so that didn't work. But do you get a copy? Alright, if for some reason my Discord's not acting up, so I'll try to get that sorted. I'll try to talk to you later, man. I'm sorry about this, but we'll try to talk to you when I can get my stuff sorted out. Yeah, I don't quite know why my Discord's not working for me right now, so maybe I can get it sorted out, maybe I can't, but we'll call that up to technical difficulties. Maybe we'll talk to somebody else so we don't sound like a total fool here. Let's see who else we can grab. Hey Dave, you got a copy? Well, for some reason, alright, I can see that you're queuing up, but I can't hear you. I'm gonna try to get this sorted. I think I'm still having problems, so I'll bring it back and see if we can get this sorted out, because I can't hear your audio, and I know it's not you. Alright, so again, for those who didn't hear the opening spiel, I basically had to do an entire reformatting of my computer last night. So, some things clearly have not worked properly, and we're still trying to fix those things. So, just bear with me while that does happen. Alright, but we are getting ready for a restart right now. Looks like we have, again, 15 drivers on our lead lap right now. Oh. Lights are out on the pace car, I do believe. Usually, I'm trying to see if it is actually going to go green this time by. Sometimes the lights, usually on our ticker, the yellow flag goes away when it's 1 to go. And it's still there, so I believe we're going green. We'll see exactly what happens if the pace car does indeed pull off. So we are here coming off turn 4. Pace car is indeed going to make that dedicated move to pit lane, and we'll see indeed what happens. We have Prohl and Snyder on the front row. Remember the 225 Slash 29, he's on the outside. He pitted, but the 89 chose not to come to pit road that last pit stop, that last caution period. So that'll, if this does go green, that's going to put him in a precarious position, in my opinion, on fuel. But let's see how it does choose to play out. Green flag is in the air. We're racing again at Talladega. Well, 225 of Snyder to the outside. He's going to get the push from the 12. Again, Snyder and Botello have been working together all race, but now they are in separate lanes. Botello is going to pull to the inside here. See if he's dropping to the back, if he just thinks that things are going to get a little bit too feisty for him, at least this early in the race. Now that, again, most drivers are on the lead lap now. Tiffany's still a lap down. Sazala did take it to the garage area. So up front, Schaefer, again, remember this chain of events. Tail end of the lead lap, almost a lap down. Indeed was a lap down, but through cautions and, you know, making the right moves, he's now going to be our leader of the race with Prohl in second. Again, very skeptical on that decision by the 89 because he's most likely going to need to pit by himself because he has 5 laps less fuel than everybody else. And again, I don't think anybody else is going to want to pit 5 laps early because of the fact that one more stop on about lap number 58, 59 is going to get you to the checkers. And I just don't think that 89 is going to be in position to get to the checkers on one more stop. So, but again, I'm not a crew chief. I have not driven in one of these things. I don't know the exact down to the millimeter fuel load number. So very well, maybe he does have enough. Maybe he does have a strategy. So that's why we watch the races, to watch how these things do play out. Everybody just kind of doing that cautious conga line here. I think everybody's kind of realized that, hey, this race has been a little more hectic, a little more wreck-filled than we wanted it to be. So may just be time to dial it back a notch and kind of wait to see and just let some laps pass by. So I think these guys will probably do this for the better part of this run, I would imagine. We do have a very slow machine. That's the 628 of Alice Nature. Remember, he kind of was the instigation, if you will, behind that last caution by changing the lanes there. Well, actually, it was 2 cautions ago, I do believe. My race recap will refresh my memory. We are had 2 cautions, so yes, it was the last caution. That needs to change lanes and kind of throw things off a little bit. Coming through the tri-oval. Looks like that last couple cars in the pack. Haynes, Tiffany, and Anderson all trying to make that second lane work and seeing if they can giddy on up and make some time there on that outside lane. Remember, we will be covering these series, well, we as in me, because I will be doing these shows by myself. We do have 3 more scheduled, kind of on a bi-weekly basis on Fridays. We won't be covering next week, but we will be covering the subsequent week, and, you know, these can already gain a couple drivers. Remember, 20 to enter, and if they do have a full field of 40 cars, the winner is scheduled to make approximately $300, if I recall the payout structure. If there's not a full field, as in tonight, the admin kind of they call a couple hours before the race and decide how the payouts are going to work for this evening. So for this evening, second and third are going to get their $20 back. And then whatever is remaining out of the fund will go to the winner once all things are taken care of. So the winner will get the vast majority of the prize, but on a traditional race, I believe even up to the first 10 drivers get some sort of payment if we have a full grid. So if you are interested in joining these Friday night affairs, you can take a look or even reach out to me. I can get you in the right ballpark. Dave Fuse Jr. or David Duke. You can find him on Discord, and they'll help you get into these races on Friday nights, win you some money, have some fun. And then at the end of the month, which is actually coming up relatively quickly, we will be covering the SSRL Elite Cup Series, which is a bi-weekly Monday series, next-gen machines running 50% races, and I'll have kind of a rotating booth of Evan Black and Tyler Orn covering those races here on PTR TV on Monday nights. That's going to this is more of the fun series, that's more of the standard serious series, so that is on its way as well. So again, like, subscribe, make sure you're ready for those broadcasts when they do come. But we do have an outside groove forming right now. 14 of Bishop, 17 of Haynes, and that 13 of Tiffany. Remember, Tiffany is not on the lead lap, and he is still recovering from that first pit stop as the leader entering pit lane and caught speeding. Still trying to recover through all of the cautions we've had. The lucky dog has not worked in his favor yet, so he's still trying to work back that. 17 machine's going to take it 3 wide into the middle with the 6 of Cezanto to the inside. And Tiffany to the outside. Pretty aggressive move here. I'm not sure if maybe Tiffany instigated that by trying to go to the outside, but looks like Bishop and the 14 go to the outside. I think we are voluntarily going 3 wide right now. Now that 14 is going to drop to the back of the field here, whether intentional or not. Not sure if these guys just decided to drop him. And then we do have a little bit of a gap back to Bobby Anderson in the 18 ride, that Bobby Labonte Camaro. Botello is now closing up on him with Derek Castor, Holloman, and Cody Ivey so right behind them. Cody Ivey involved in a wreck kind of out of his doing, entering pit lane. He did have to use his fast repair. So again, something that some of these drivers are having to deal with is not having the safety net. They already used the backup car. They're in their backup car, so if anything does happen, it's up to the pit crews to repair that damage by themselves. Outside lane is about to the 3rd position in relation to where the inside is right now. Outside is of the 17 of Haynes. He's pulling alongside essentially the 89 of Proel and the 6 rather of Cezanto. So now this is that pivotal moment where we usually see them. If they can get this close, they usually go all the way. We'll see, because it's 4 to the top, 4 to the bottom. 13 of Tiffany kind of all over the place for a little bit, if you will. But Ducom is closing in with the help of Snyder. And that backpack is kind of just dangling on there, I think just waiting for some time. But again, the driver I do want to focus on for a brief moment is the 89 of Proel, who a little bit of connectivity issues here, but you can see 2 pit stops. His last stop 18 laps ago. Mind you, we have had a couple cautions, or at least 1 caution, but he is not going to be able to go much longer on fuel. 03 machine of Latimer kind of came down the track a little bit. That's what caused our last incident, so these guys don't want to race in that manner. But I don't think that 89 is going to go much longer. And again, if he has to pit, let's say lap 47, 48, goes another 20 laps, that's another pit stop he's going to have to make, because he'd only be able to go to, about 66, 67. So it's going to be interesting to see if the strategy does work out for the 89, but this far I am a little bit skeptical if I'm being honest. But up front, 43 is just logging laps up front. Reese Schaefer didn't have the best start to the race, but you can see here just the difference in him being out of the draft versus into the draft, about 1.2 seconds. And he did start in that 4th starting position. Do a very quick through the field because I feel like things are going to change. Schaefer first, Fuge in second, Cesanto third, Haynes in 4th, Ducom in 5th, Prohl in 6th, Bishop in 7th, Snyder in 8th, Anderson in 9th, rounding out your top 10, Justin Botello. In 11th, Derek Castor, Blake Holloman in 12th, Cody Ivey in 13th, Bo Tiffany in 14th. Latimer looks like he's in 15th and just pulled it behind the wall. And then 16th is Alex Neach, who's behind the wall, as well as Jacob Cesala, 15th, 16th, and 17th. And up front, we're now side by side for the lead, pace lap formation, that 13 of Tiffany, and he is trying to unlap himself the old-fashioned way right now. He's not on the lead lap, but if he can get in front of the leader and a caution comes out, he doesn't need to take the lucky dog. He would natively be on the lead lap, so that's the ideal situation for him. But the unfortunate thing for him is I just don't see a caution coming out. It's just there's not really anything going on to lead to me that we're gonna have a caution flag. Everybody's kind of running a solid pace. Everybody's running smooth. Everybody's, for the most part, giving each other space. I think they saw those first couple wrecks and realized that they had to tone it down a little bit just to make it to the end. 89 of Pearl to the outside by himself. Again, we're just waiting for that pit stop by him because just don't see how much more fuel he can pack into that machine, or how much fuel he did pack in and how long it's eventually going to last for. Coming to 26 to go this time by as we start lap number 50. And the longest I think I've ever seen anybody go in this series is 22 laps. Right now he is on 20. If he goes to lap 22, if he goes another 2 laps for the 89, that'll be 24, and that would mean 23 to the finish. Both of those numbers I am pretty sure are unachievable, and as he is to the outside and dropping back rather quickly, I think he is just waiting for the pack to clear so that he can pull into the pits. So we'll see if he beelines it in this time by. And yes, he does. So he had to let the field pass by, and he will make that stop all by his lonesome. The worst feeling that you can have at Talladega Superspeedway, or Daytona for that matter, is pitting by yourself. And I was a skeptic of the strategy, but again, anything can happen. It takes one caution at the right time, and he's right back in it. But the problem for Prohl is he's going to have to fight with Bo Tiffany, because Bo Tiffany is on the lead lap right now, but barely. He's on that lead lap by absolutely nothing over Tommy Haynes, who did manage to take the lead away from Reese Schaefer. So as the 89 exits the pits right now, these guys are coming off turn 4. They should swallow him up off the exit of turn number 2. And then it's going to be a battle for the lucky dog position. Ultimately, if the 13 is able to stay in front of the leader, then it's perfectly fine for Prohl if he does go a lap down, because he'd be guaranteed the free pass. But if anybody passes that 13, which Anderson trying to do right now, then it's going to be a battle for the lucky dog, as Anderson tried to go to the outside. I don't know if he thought Tiffany or somebody was going to go with him. Obviously, that did not happen, so he did pull back in line. And even for these leaders right now, they're on lap 18, 19, so this is going to be a very, very close run to the end. I think everybody is going to stretch this as long as they can. Remember, I think the absolute max comfortably is lap 21. But the absolute max, like overall, I'm pretty sure is about 22 laps, and that's a stretch. Most guys are coming in 19 to 20. So we're on, technically the math says 23, 22, but we have to complete the lap, so it's really 23 laps right now. So if you can make it 2 more laps after this, I would say that you're good. But it's putting us really close to, I think, where we're comfortable. One thing that the 17 and the 18 have going for them is that they did top off on that last caution, because you can see here, I'll pull up the stints to show you. Anderson pit 19 laps ago, Haynes pit 19 laps ago, Schaefer 20, Fuse 20, so they topped off, and you can see the extra pit stop 4 to 5. They topped off. But that extra lap is just an extra lap of comfort that they don't have to save. They can push, they can stay flat, they can tandem, they can, they don't have to conserve in any capacity, or at least a much more minimal capacity. So for third on back, this is lap 21. I would expect a big break to pit road from third on back. But my personal expectation is to see the top 2 stay out for a lap as we do catch Tiffany and who's that? They do catch Tiffany. Yep, but here we come. Everybody's coming to pit road, actually, including. Let me try to see here. Big break to pit road, but nope. Here we go. We have a couple staying out. Snyder, Botello, Caster, and Ducom come to pit road. But that's very surprising to me. I would have thought that those 2 guys that stayed out, the 17 and the 18, that had that extra lap in the bank, I thought they would have kept that lap on the track and just kept that extra little bit of assurance rather than being on the absolute brink of the fuel run. So we should see. This is exactly, it must have been Snyder last week. I couldn't remember earlier who was helping Botello for the win. I think it must have been Snyder, the way they're working together. Because this is what Botello's strategy was last week, was to stay out a lap longer than everybody else. And, well, he's going to actually stay out 2 laps longer than everybody else. So this is lap number 22. This is so this is the 23rd lap. So obviously if they can go 23 laps, then the 19 that they'll have to finish this thing after their pit stop should be a walk in the park. Everybody else should be doable, but it's going to be stretching it where you are going to have to put a little bit of thought into it. Is Ducom is slow. Ducom, I think he's out of fuel. Yep, he is most certainly out of fuel. Ducom just stretched it a little bit farther than that car was willing to take him. But here comes Botello. He is cooking it on the entry here. That's going to be close for Botello. I'm telling you, I thought I saw him at 81, but I looked at it very quickly and wasn't fully focused. So we'll see if indeed that car pulls away in a timely manner. I wouldn't expect a Jack to go, oh, he just got left sides down. If the car drops and he goes, he made the entry. And he did. It looked super quick, but he nailed it. So full kudos to him. So all 4 of those guys will exit pit road. Botello, Caster, Snyder, and Holloman. And then Ducom, again, he took him forever to get into the pits because he did have that speeding penalty. Well, not speeding penalty, excuse me. He ran out of fuel. But let's see how Bo Tiffany. He is a lap down now. So he is going to be fighting super hard to get onto the lead lap. And then Drew Broll in that 89. He is going to be fighting Drew Tiffany. Rather, mixing the names up. Bo Tiffany and Drew Foll are fighting for that to get back onto the lead lap. Tiffany is going to want to get on the natural way. but he also doesn't want to interfere with the race. It's always an interesting dynamic as a lap car as the race does come to a close, is you don't want to interfere with the race, but you obviously want to do the best you can to ensure that, you know, you're doing the best you can. You're doing your due diligence for yourself. The top three are out there just doing what they can do. So one thing we're going to do here is we're just going to quickly crank up the engine sounds and let you enjoy the audio here at Talladega. So let's crank it up. Alright, so we do have some battling going on still. These guys are starting to race as the money is coming to its pivotal moments here. Tiffany, again, that 13 on the outside is off of the lead lap. He is not in position at the moment to win this race. He needs a yellow flag. Botello is on the inside, and he is temporarily your race leader, but that 17 just behind him is giving him that push he needs. So, and Fuse trying to go to the inside now. Fuse going to drop down. Oh, thought he was trying to get underneath the 17 machine. He was just doing a quick drop to take the momentum away from the bottom of the track. So Fuse in good position here. Looks to the, maybe get a little bit of air. They're battling here with Bishop in that 14 machine. Outside lane has completely disassembled right now. So now they are gonna just fall back in line. 14's going to get back in line as we try to get this thing sorted out. And again, 15 laps to go. We do have 10 drivers in this pack. Haynes, Fuse, Bishop, Santo, Botello, Snyder, Castor, Schaefer, Anderson, and Ivy. And just tagging on to the end is Pearl, but he is off the lead lap. And Blair Holloman in the 06, again, off the lead lap now. So three are basically off the lead lap, but remember, Tiffany is just hanging on by a thread right now, trying to stay on this lead lap. As this race does come to its waning stages right now, which is a matter of who is going to work with who. We do know that Snyder and Botello are probably going to work together in some capacity to finish this thing out. Now, the biggest question ultimately is how do they do that, and who are they going to go with? They're going to need more help than just themselves to get up there. They're going to have to depend on another driver to go up there and trust them and make it happen. And when they do that, is that driver going to stick with them and fully dedicate to them? Because if he doesn't, then that move, whatever move they do make, is going to entirely backfire. So again, those are just the risks versus rewards that we do have on these plate tracks. Is that we don't know who's gonna trust you, who isn't gonna trust you, and when do they go, and how long do they stick with you. These are all the things, and you kind of hope at this point that you know your compadres enough to, you know, not kind of stiff you over if you think they're gonna go and they say they're gonna go with you, that they don't actually just bail on you last second. So you'd like to hope that your friends will work with you. But again, we have a fair amount of money on the line. I don't know the exact payouts, but you know, it's going to be a fairly modest a fairly substantial payout. There's, you know, going to be a good chunk of you know, good money on the table for the winner of this race. And here they come, just as predicted. Botello and Snyder, along with the 12 of Castor. That's who they've got working with them. And look at that run that they have. That inside lane has completely died. 81.29, conga lining all the way up there. My God, that is kind of like COT style tandeming that we see. And they just went from about the 5th place in line on the outside to the lead. And look at Snyder to the outside. He's gonna back off and get back in line. I thought he was kind of being forced into an outside move there on Botello, but he did have enough space behind him that he was able to back up. Castor will fall behind Schaefer and Anderson, and now again Bo Tiffany in that 13 to the outside. Again, now he is formally 1 lap down, so he would be the sole lucky dog driver. But Ryan Ducombe in the 28 ride is technically on the lead lap now, but by himself, so he would go a lap down within, I'd say, 2 to 3 laps on track, maybe 4 tops. So there will come a point where we're going to have 4 guys on the lead lap essentially fighting, 4 guys off the lead lap fighting for that potential free pass. 3 of them would be in the pack. Again, Blair Holloman is also out by himself as well right now, and so he'll likely go a 2nd lap down before the race is over, as Botello checks up there. Not sure what happened. I was watching something else for a brief moment and everything gets completely shuffled up. Bo Tiffany is going to get back onto the lead lap. I swear these guys had the broadcast up in the background and they're kind of calling out the things I'm seeing with these lap cars. So now that changes things. That puts Prohl into the position right now to get his lap back if a caution does come out. But we have the 17 on the outside right now, trying to make something happen with the 14 of Bishop. 84 of Ivy trying to close in, but he's a little bit too far back to where that outside isn't going to work at that distance. So here we come, coming to 8 laps to go. Talladega Super Speedway, Spartan SimRacing League, Cash Dash, race number 2 here on PTR TV. In a 5-week campaign, there is kind of a little mini championship going on as well throughout this series. So every driver that has participated, there is kind of a little extra incentive, a little mini championship that I think gives away a little bit even more money, if memory did serve, from what I was told by the admin. So money on the line for 5 weeks, as well as a little mini championship. That, again, all of it covered here Friday night's PTR TV. But up front, again, we're not looking at that 13, at least from a winning perspective. We're looking at him because he is on the tail end of the lead lap. Snyder to the inside, lost his kind of compadre because Botello all the way at the outside lane right now. We'll see what his strategy is to try to get back to the front. Kind of looking for a 3-wide move, maybe looking to see if Ivy is going to be willing to make that pass or make that opportunity present itself. Heading down the Alabama gang backstretch, Ducombe You can see him there, going to go a lap down in just a jiff. See that intense drafting between Snyder and Tiffany, but here comes that outside lane. Here comes Tommy Haynes. He has the lead now. He has cleared Snyder. He is still behind Tiffany, again, who is leading the charge off of the lead lap. But here goes Botello trying to make that third lane work, but he doesn't have anybody willing to take the charge with him up there. Two drivers towards the tail end of this pack starting to fall off. That is Fuge and Cezanto. I think they should still be able to catch up, but again, we need the most amount of cars here possible in order to create enough energy to get these lanes working. One or two, maybe even three cars isn't enough to make a sizable impact on the performance of a lane. We need as many as possible. So ideally, the Fuge, Cezanto, and company would be able to close in and work with these guys up front. And also, does the 13. Oh no, we're wrecking. That's going to be a caution right there. That's the 89 of Pro. He's not going to get his lap back now. 43 of Schaefer. That was his backup car. 17 of Haynes. He's going to get some damage and try to pull straight to pit lane. Very good call there. But through all of that, we stay green. I have not the foggiest idea how, but we do stay green. Quickly, because we are running out of laps and we want to follow what's going on track, go to instant replay. I just got a better perspective of that, so allow me to cue back the 89 machine there, following the 12. 17 had a run. Whether one came up, one came down, or it was netcode, not quite sure, but either way, that was our wreck. And again, not sure how, but the flagman decided that that was not worth throwing a caution for. Again, if you do wreck to the inside here at Talladega, iRacing's algorithmic system only throws cautions if there is a kind of car sideways on the racing surface. If you wreck all the way to the inside like that, like, you know, below the yellow line on the runoff pavement, in many situations it will not cause a caution. So the majority of the wreck did happen below the racing surface, and that's ultimately what led to that. But now that's going to leave us 4 cars going for the win. And I think the $1 million question that I was talking about beforehand is, does the 13 machine choose to back off and give the guys a unaffected shot at the win, or is he going to stay put? He has every right to, in terms of a racing perspective, he has every right to stay put, but is he going to get roasted for a lap car, you know, affecting the end of the race and affecting the payouts? That's, you know, a question that these guys will have to answer. But we do have, excuse me, it's only going to be 3 drivers in this lead pack. That is my mistake, because I've got to remember Ducom. He's off the lead lap now, so him and the 13 are essentially fighting for the lucky dog. They are going to drop to the back of this pack, it looks like. So Botello, Snyder, and Castor, 1, 2, 3. Now, if you're Castor, I would feel very left out now, as 13 of Tiffany is going to come to pit road. Not sure if it's just to get out of the way or if it's for anything fuel related. That I am not quite sure. It could be fuel. So for some of these drivers, they are going to be pushing the lap 21, lap 2021 perspective. When it comes to their stops just behind this, like Dave Fuge Jr. in the 4, he's on lap 20 right now. He's going to have to take 22 laps, which is usually the absolute maximum these guys can sustain. So it's going to be interesting to see if there is any fuel issues for the guys up front. Botello, Snyder, and Castor, they'll only have to run 20. I think they're fine, but there are a couple guys in this top 5 or 6 or so that I am genuinely concerned about in relation to fuel. $17 of Tommy Haynes, who was involved in that wreck. We'll go to the outside, but we are on the white flag lap here at Talladega Superspeedway. Last lap of the race. Botello trying to take the money 2 weeks in a row. He's going to have the huge push from Snyder. Caster really just kind of a sitting duck now. He doesn't really have any ability to do something. He can only be reactive to what occurs in front of him. But coming through 3 and 4, can Botello be the money man 2 weeks in a row? We'll see if a last-second effort is pulled by Snyder to make something happen. Looks like he's going to take a run to the outside. Caster's going to help him. Caster's going to try to go low. No, he's going to help Botello. He's going to get into the back bumper, take a 3-wide move to the apron. Not going to work. Botello's going to take the money here tonight. Nice race to the checkers there for these guys. I thought that Caster was going to take a 3-wide. Clearly, he didn't have enough to do so. We'll go on, before we check out our final results here, we'll go on replay and get a little shot of that last run to the checkers from the tri-oval. You can see here, 29, right, absolute drafting as close as possible. 12 kind of moved up. 29 took the advantage up there. And then the 81, the Botello just kind of shut the door on. Really, the 12 had nothing he could do. 29 was just kind of hoping that, hey, maybe we'll just do this together and just make sure Botello doesn't go back to back. But that was not the case, as Justin Botello in that number 81 painted machine, IK9.com, he is going to be the money man here at Talladega and burn him down here on the front straightaway. But while he does that, let's go ahead and give you the final results here from Talladega Superspeedway. Botello getting that win in exciting fashion over Derek Caster in that number 12 machine. Snyder went for the win. Unfortunately, he's going to have to settle for a third. Dave Hughes Jr., the 4, will be in 4th. Bobby Anderson in 5th. Chris Bishop in 6th. Ryan Ducombe in 7th. Ree Schaefer, Bo Tiffany, and Andrew Cezanto, the top 10. And then the rest of our results here: Blair Holloman, Tommy Haynes, Cody Ivey, Drew Prohl, Casey Latimer, Alex Nietzsche, Jacob Cesala, and John Wimbish are remaining results. Going to step aside for a brief moment here and make sure that I can actually talk to these guys and make sure that my Discord is actually working properly. We'll get that sorted and be right back with you. Stay with us. Unfortunately, folks, I don't know why my Discord is not working, so I'm not going to be able to interview these drivers. I'll try to see if I can grab any comments, then post-race and put it on our Facebook. But I do want to thank everybody for watching tonight's coverage. Like and subscribe if you have not done so. We'll be, again, with these guys in a few weeks' time. 2 weeks, we will be with these drivers next. Again, apologies for the technical problems. I'm still trying to solve my Windows Update issues, but at least we were able to cover an exciting race here on PTR TV. Corey in the booth signing out. Have a great night, everyone, and we'll catch you next time.